So I'll just try to pry some info from the civilians and the scientists.
Sure, awesome. So, prying info from civilians and scientists, you go over there and just kind of like sit down and do me a favor. Actually, roll me a perception charisma check to kind of like gauge the room of who you think is the most open. It's like an insight roll. Okay, so kind of like looking around and trying to decide who seems the most interested or whatever in speaking to you, you can actually see there's a small group that is sitting off to the side. Two of them are scientists, one of them is a civilian that are just sitting there and having conversation, but they kind of like keep looking up at you, but not in like a gawking kind of way, like this is kind of a cool kind of way, not being insulting at all, at least not intentionally being insulting.
We know how humans are.
Yeah. Well,
Right, I will casually wander up to them and, well, good evening. I hope you're all having a good night.
one of them quickly stands up, and she says, "Yeah, we're having it's day, but we are enjoying it. Why is it nighttime on your homeworld?"
Well, you know how it goes with space. We tend to lose track of time after a while.
Oh yeah, yeah. I only did the one voyage, and it was actually only a couple of days to get here. It was almost frightening how fast it was, considering how far from Earth I am. But you're Solarian, correct?
Yes, correct.
And then she actually says, like, because Solarians, much like humans, break things down into like a familiar genus and all that stuff. So she actually says, like, the long form name in Solarian, though horribly slaughtering the pronunciation, the long form name of what your species are, like what you are, like kind of like being like Homo sapien sapien, right? But go ahead.
I will, gently smile, let her know that I appreciate her trying. This
Okay.
is very respectful.
Oh, please, if you can have a seat, I think you can drink the stuff that we drink, right?
Yes, we share our metabolism are roughly the same.
Well, I would love to get a drink for you. And she kind of like looks over, like, oh, can we just get a whole round, please? All right, thanks. And drinks will come over in a bit. And she's like, I'm being so horribly rude. Hi, my name's Bethany. And she like reaches out to shake your hand.
I will shake her hand and introduce myself with my full name.
Oh, jeez.
Sirkesh Heranon Maldinas Got Olan Cattle, although you can just call me Cattle Olan. Because I figured they're into the whole Solarian thing. They're very hospitable. And I will casually explain how the naming convention works for us.
So it's funny, as you go to start explaining the naming convention, you'll be like, so the name blah blah. She's like, that's like the name of the clan or the family, right? And you're like, yeah, but she kind of screwed them up, but she understood, like, she clearly had heard the naming conventions before, but like completely got it scrambled. But is very interested in it. However, when she shook your hand and you shook hers and you said your name, she immediately reached out with her other hand and cupped over your hand with it. And this is something that you've seen humans do before. You know, it's meant to be like an endearing, like welcoming thing. However, it's like with her other hand, it's almost like a little uncomfortable as she literally strokes the back of your hand slightly, and then like seems like be interested in like the texture. And then like when you clearly notice this and she notices you notice it, her face turns completely beet red.
I'm guessing you haven't met many Solarians before.
Um, the the team that I was working with just prior to being switched to working on this project, they literally just got a group of 6 Solarians to start working with them, and I literally saw them in the hallway twice and never even got to be introduced. And I just, from what I understand, you're a genius, aren't you?
Our minds do work on a fast pace, that is correct.
I would love the opportunity to work with Solarians. I mean, it just, you have to understand, there's aliens. And like it's like that like childish. Now she's clearly in like what you can understand of human metabolism, aging and whatnot. She's clearly in like her mid to late 20s, and she's still like starstruck at the fact that humanity has met aliens. I think it's been 11 years now. So she was a child growing up thinking, I wonder if there's aliens, and then poof, there's aliens.
I'm sure we have records of the Solarians going, oh my god, there's a Sauri out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be able to relate to her.
It's more of a, oh my God. There's a sorry
Mm,
about
mm,
that. um, so anyways, yeah, you um, so yeah, you relate or whatever, and she's like, and she just seems very enthralled with what you're saying. However, this whole time that she's been having this engagement with you, the other two sitting at the table, the other civilian is a woman as well, and the other scientist is a gentleman, and they're like watching this interaction back and forth. The guy is genuinely amused by how like go back and forth it is. The girl seems to be like disinterested, not like in a rude way disinterested, just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, she's not part of the conversation right now.
Yeah, it's one of those literal like, okay, you talk your work stuff. I guess I'll just stay here. So, anyways, you can continue engaging with her. Now, what were you hoping to kind of get from her, or how are you looking to lead the conversation? Because she seems to be very receptive.
Yeah, that I've gathered as much. No, I was just trying to casually figure out like what are the scientists up to here. Just, basic things that I would be able to figure out about the research place. Anything that would basically help us sneak into the place without, of course, being obvious that I'm trying to get such information. I'm just showing interest, just like she's showing interest in us.
Awesome. Okay, so the way that we're going to do that is you're going to have to roll for me a talk check to get information out of her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to have you roll that talk check. Unfortunately, I'm going to give you a penalty because you're trying to be discreet about it. So whether or not you succeed, unless you like fail horribly, whether or not you succeed, you're not going to be triggering any alarms in this person's minds, again, unless you fail horribly. Because failure would just mean you're being a little too reserved with your questioning. Okay? Go ahead.
Okay.
With a -2 again. Talk. Charisma.
Okay, so just subtract 2 of this then.
Okay. So with your 6, you're trying to get information or whatever from her about the facility, and she definitely talks to you about things that you had seen. About things about the place. But most of the information you glean is information that you actually already had. Like, oh yeah, because like maybe you mentioned like, oh, how's this place get powered? And she's like, oh yeah, there's 3 power facilities, but only 2 of them are up and running right now because we don't really need the third one yet. That's for expansion. So like a lot of the information that she gives you is stuff that you're already able to glean on your own, even becoming in here. The little extra that she's able to give you is talking about like, oh yeah, no, the facility that's over there, they're doing everything they can to run it, but half the time the place is usually like it's more than half empty because everybody's out in the Prothean city trying to get all the information they can. So they'll go between times of everybody's back at the facility buzzing around something they've recently discovered, and almost everybody's out of the facility trying to find something new to be excited about.
All right. That is useful stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I imagine as that's going on, we could just skip over to Frank or whatever.
Absolutely. Friggity Frank. Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Cool.
All right.
You walk up to
So
the bartender.
Yes, and he punches him. No. So, yeah, Krex walks up to the bar. I assume it's just a standing bar, or for him it has to be. He leans on the counter, waits for the bartender.
Okay. Bartender literally was watching you guys as you walked in, but like definitely is watching you. You have to remember, like, Krogan are large, really. They're tall. They're
like
wide.
7'7".
They look like almost kind of like if a dinosaur mated with a turtle. That's kind of what a Krogan looks like. And so you're kind of the stuff of some people's nightmares. And Cracks, I'm not going to make you roll. You can clearly tell that this person is fucking scared of you. Like, so they're across the bar and they see you walk over. And like, they were in the middle of like pouring a drink, but the drink like overpours for like an extra 2 or 3 seconds before it kind of like gets on their hands and they realize and they stop doing what they're doing and they go around doing things. They don't intentionally walk up to you immediately. They don't intentionally walk up to you yet. But if you try to get their attention, they'll come like skipping over.
Yeah, he's gonna wait for them to finish with the next customer and then get a little impatient and like tap the counter and like, hey, it's my turn.
He very quickly comes over to you and he's like, hey, you oh, that was it. That's all
Yeah,
it says.
I forget. I'm sorry, I had myself muted because Pistol's crying.
Yep.
Yeah, he looks at the guy, not really mean mugging, just his usual placid face. Says, "You wouldn't have any Rhine call by any chance, would you?
And he,
You have
oh, Ryan Call, yeah,
no
yeah.
idea what that is,
Yep.
do you?"
I have alcohol. I have
What's your
rye
strongest?
whiskey. What's my strongest? And he kind of like points at a sign, like a neon sign that's behind him, and it's like it has this like strange like red circle that has almost like a bat creature in the center of it, and then underneath it has the number is 151, and he just kind of like gestures at this like neon sign that's behind him.
How much does it look to be?
You mean cost or?
Yeah, cost wise.
I mean,
Because
not,
151's like, yeah, it's I assume you mean Bacardi.
yes. It's not very expensive.
Yeah, we'll buy a bottle of that.
So
Not a cup, a bottle.
Yep. So you ask her. He's like, so you're like, can I get a bottle? And he's like, we don't really sell it. That yeah.
He
Yeah,
just pushed
I
the
can.
credits on the table.
Yeah, I'll get that for you. And he goes over and he grabs a bottle and he lifts it up and you can see that the bottle he grabs has this like strange little like red nipple thing on it. But the bottle's already like missing a quarter of it. Looking over at you and seeing you looking at the bottle,
He just gives,
whether
like,
or
a
not
thumbs
you have
up.
facial expressions, he can't like tell. So like before you even give the thumbs up, he just like kind of puts the bottle back and goes out back. It comes back like 45 seconds later with a fresh bottle. You can hear it cracking as he's opening the top off of it and puts it down on the bar. He doesn't even look at the number of credits that you gave. He just kind of like takes them and walks away.
Yeah. How many credits? Because he's actually going to like overpay.
Sure. So just assume you put down like say 20 credits.
Okay. So I'm just doing the math. So he, before the guy can even leave, I assume there's other people at the bar as well, right?
Yep, there are a ton of other people at the bar.
So Krax is going to lean in towards the guy and like motion for him to come closer. And he's going to put another 50 credit chip down. He's seen people do this before.
Yep.
It has to work.
So you put the 50 credit chips down. Yep.
And he just, in his low rolling voice, which trying to be quiet, still kind of loud, it's like, I'm looking for an information broker, one of the less savory types. See, I'm a bounty hunter, and, well, there's always unsavory work to do. Unsavory people who need.
The response
He
saying,
shrugged.
"Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Go ahead, my friend."
Oh, no, I was. And he just shrugs and, waits for the guy.
Okay. So he says, this is an Alliance facility. We don't have bounty hunters. The Alliance takes care of all of that stuff. Nobody sells information because everything here is classified.
He just blank stare at the guy. Knows he's lying.
It's like my wife works for the research facility, and I can't even know things that go on there because it's classified. That's how I got this gig. It's because she works there. So it's kind of, personnel only plus family. If the family is useful, we get a job. If not, they find a job for us.
Oh, God, Krax is definitely like the gears are slowly grinding to a
No
halt.
cracks. Bad cracks.
It's like,
Play pool
wait,
cracks.
but this works at every other bar. He starts slowly sliding the 50 credit chip away and like palms out a second 50 credit chip underneath his other finger. It's like, it's unfortunate that you don't know anybody who could help. And he's like slowly pulling them back towards him.
He's looking at the credits and he's like, nope, nobody.
And
This guy is loyal.
I mean, he obviously knows, but Crax is like, yeah, you definitely know, you son of a bitch.
But then again, where are you going to spend
Um,
credits on a year-old
Yeah.
Alliance colony? Like some really crazy extranet porn, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
Probably, or the only thing. Space Netflix.
yeah. Space Netflix. There you go.
That's not 50 credits.
I'm gonna space
Yeah,
Netflix some
I know.
chill tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, SpaceX is like great. They just got the new Blasto movie.
Badass
Oh,
fully.
nice. Blast.
Um,
Fuck yeah. It was one of my favorite things that
I
happened
think-
in the video games, and they were talking about the all Elcor cast doing a rendition of
Hamlet.
Hamlet. Yeah.
By
so,
the way-
so humans can really see what the characters are. They can truly judge the character for their actions and not for their persona. And it was like, it was amazing. I was like, this is brilliant. This is so good.
Scott, lore-wise, Macbeth with the Krogan lead came out in game this year.
Oh god, it's amazing.
So Crax he's already watched it. I was making
He's a
hints
big
about
fan
that
of
last
Shakespeare.
week.
Wait, in 2168 that happened?
Mhm.
Macbeth? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
60? It might have been 80.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's so long ago for that kind of like cultural blending to
Gonna
have
check.
happened. Yeah.
But it definitely happened, which, if it did come out in game year, Crax is all over that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Crax is, just gonna look at the guy. Are you sure? Maybe I could jog your memory.
No, there's nobody. I mean, I don't even know any information. My wife can't tell me things because she would get in trouble with her superiors.
He shrugs again and says, "Oh, that's unfortunate. You would have got the 10% commission on everything I made."
I'm
You know
not
how
sure
much-
what you'd be making money on.
Well, bounties tend to go for. He shrugs. Well,
I don't think we have
a
criminals here.
lower target usually. Yeah, he just like talks over the guy. Lower targets usually go for around, depending around what they did, 100 to 500,000 credits. And he like starts going on the numbers. He's obviously heard someone else say this, like the mobster accountant.
Yeah.
It's like, breaking legs is this much.
Yeah, but then you're getting paid to hurt people.
He looks over at like one of the military people.
Why would you
Looks
want
back
to
up
get
the
paid to
guy.
hurt people? Huh?
Oh no, he just like looked over at one of the military people, looked back at the bartender.
Mhm.
It's a Krogan. It's what he does.
So he clearly didn't put two and two together? Because I know what you're saying.
Oh, I figured.
But he didn't put two and two together.
Yeah, Crax looks at him and says, "It's not about hurting people, it's about getting people who have done others wrong. That's all I'm looking for. Someone who's unsavory, who helps fight the unsavory."
Well, if you need anything else, you let me know.
He
says
just
kinda
like
clearly this conversation is super uncomfortable and it's gone like a left turn. It's like it's like when you have a conversation with a random person in a store and then they just kind of like go off the deep end with their like political or religious beliefs and you're just like, whoa,
Yeah.
I literally was just grabbing the same can at you as the same like we don't need to do this. Like this is good.
See, Crax has seen this work with other people at bars. For some reason, humans are stupid. Yeah, so Crax takes the 50 credits back, or actually the 100 credits back that he was inching towards the guy. He still leaves the tip for the drink, and he just goes and finds a table.
Sure. And you go and you sit down or whatever. Okay, cool. So after everything's said and done, like Crax is just gonna kind of like sit there and listen to everything else that's going on for a little while. You have two of the girls are having a good time with the military personnel over there. At least like half of them having a good time with them at this point. You can see the cattle is actually having a very engaging conversation with one person. A guy that's sitting there and clearly is just thinks that their conversation is hilarious, and a girl that looks like annoyed and bored and eventually kind of gets up and walks away after like, I don't know, 45 minutes of them chatting and her not even being introduced yet. She literally just gets up and walks away She's like, this is boring, and goes and hangs out with other people. But yeah, that kind of goes on for a little while. Was there anything else specific inside the bar that you guys really wanted to focus on, like trying to get information, or do you feel as though you're kind of happy with what you've gotten so far?
Yes, actually, Krax is very happy. He actually pings the group chat.
Sure.
Bartender's wife is a researcher.
Nothing like sitting all in the same room with one another and texting one another, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're
Well, no, 'cause
working
they're all-
right now.
It's great.
Yeah, they're all doing
It's
their
a
own
business channel.
things. Krax is basically like, if anybody overheard him and came and sat with him, he'd help them with the drink and everything. But yeah,
I just ping him to not get too drunk.
it's
I
He's
don't
just
think
got
he
one
can,
bottle.
Krax.
That's not even
can't.
gonna.
Krax can't get drunk off
It's
this.
a bottle
Yeah.
of Bacardi 151. If you drank the whole thing very fast, you might feel like, oh, that was like a drink. Okay.
It's like when the Flash gets drunk. He has that super special alcohol that gets him drunk for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then he's gone again. He's back to normal.
Yep.
It's the exact same. Super fast metabolism.
Yep.
It was
think-
more meant as a tease anyway. She's
'Cause
like,
I-
hey, don't drink too much, Krogan.
It's because I think you have 2 livers or something like that, right? I'm
Yep.
pretty sure you have 2 livers and 3 hearts. So
Might be 2 hearts.
might be 2 hearts.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
You have a
just
lot
2
of
hearts.
It's an
protective
amount.
systems.
He has 4 lungs.
Yeah, okay,
And
yeah.
yet
So you have
no love
on
in the
average
man.
double what a human has. That's right.
Yep.
So 2 livers, 2 hearts, 4 testicles. You know, all the important parts. So, all right. So eventually you ping them saying like, you know, more or less, I'm good. Does anybody else ping back, or do you guys kind of like make your way out of there?
I mean, I guess when we're done what we're doing, I don't think either me or Winnie, would be more pushy for information with these people.
No, Winnie's just having fun and playing games. But we're not the information brokers, so.
Okay, awesome.
Exactly.
Cool. So you guys are able to make your way back out of that, out of the bar. Eventually, having had lots of fun or whatever, you make your way out of the bar and over to, you know, like say your goodbyes or whatever it is, and it's like all heading up together so you can chat. It's not weird to walk out together. So you walked in together. All the aliens know each other. You were able to glean information, specifically you, Ollie and Aaron. You guys were able to glean information. The reason why this weird bird is here and why they're eating this is because they kind of hard to keep track of like calendars or whatever. But today is a holiday for one of the countries back on Earth, and most of the people here come from that country. Most of the people
because
on this,
in the Mass
planet.
Effect universe, that country basically took over the world with commercialism,
Yep.
which is not at all what's happening at all. I'm gonna go get me a Coke.
mind you, most of those businesses are even based out of the United States. because
I know.
You know, which
But
is
that's
funny. But yeah,
that's the thing is, in like, there's probably like some really good space givings on Mars or something that Rockwell can tell you about.
yeah. So anyways, yeah, it's one of those things where they're all celebrating this holiday. So you guys leave the bar and you kind of like share information with one another. Feel free to role play that if you feel as though it's important, like certain details.
Cracks. This is an Alliance military. This is classified. Why do you think the cattle
It's
just?
entirely unlikely that humans in a early colony such as this would have any kind of information broking or dark network place. I know
Cracks.
humans are untrustworthy, but still.
Krax just kind of chuckles and just shakes his head. Like in his mind, there's a quartermaster somewhere fighting with my dogs. No, there's a quartermaster somewhere like stealing just things from the inventory. There's someone trading metagel, trading drugs. You know, he knows that's going on.
Yeah, but
He doesn't actually know, but he knows that's going on.
it goes on everywhere. Gotta.
Exactly. Well, yeah, in his mind, it's like, you know, it's obvious. That's everywhere, right? I mean, it's like that on Omega.
You can't really compare a colony that literally just started with Omega
I
a place
mean,
where your
I
life
very
is
much
literally worth
hope that
nothing.
this colony is not going to become
oh
the
no,
Heart
that,
of
that was
Darkness.
all like internal cracks monologue. I would also hope that a colony like this would not be like Omega, but
We can make it that way.
we can nuke it. But yeah,
Tout your gun as a pulled back thing.
It's
Space
vintage.
gun.
There we go. But
Anyway,
yeah.
what time of day is it right now?
As I said before, you guys had landed like late morning, midday, and you did spend a couple of hours in there. So it's just like midday still, but like tail end of it, early evening. The sun still has quite a few hours left before it sets.
Hmm.
Remember, days on this planet are, I believe, 29 Earth hours. And when you guys had landed, the top hemisphere was in summertime, right? Bottom hemisphere was in winter. So you guys are in the... Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was summer and winter.
I don't
right?
even know what part of the hemisphere we're in.
Yeah, I was
to be
gonna
honest.
say I don't know where we are.
The top hemisphere. You were in the summertime, so it's long days. Long days.
Long days. Good. Lovely. That's what Anthony wants. Long days on a garden planet.
Yeah,
so
when we're
nice,
trying to
isn't
stealthily sneak in
Yeah,
and steal stuff.
She's an Asari.
So,
Cattle, you're the leader.
Mhm.
You come up with the plans.
Mhm.
Yeah, I suggest we wait until nightfall, and then check out the non-operational power plant. I assume they would have things there to prep it, and we might be able to find some of the batteries. While we're doing that, Winnie, could you use your scope to have a closer look at the facility that we're meant to be going into? Perhaps bring cracks with you.
Sure. Is there anything particular you want me to look for?
Defenses, ways in or out. I've heard that people tend to leave a lot because, these humans just got introduced to Prothean technology. They're still trying to find a lot of it, which means that a lot of their researchers are running in and out and just trying to find stuff so that they can have big publishing names and write papers and get well known for Prothean stuff. So try to keep an eye on them leaving. If we can figure out like a time pattern to that, we might be able to figure out when the place is almost empty. We should be able to make a stealthy entrance.
Okay. Well, it's probably best if Crack is with me then, because I'm not entirely certain what'll be useful.
I would like to point out that we should put our attention right now on, yes, surveying the research station. It would be incredibly unwise to steal from the power plant before we have the intelligence, because we can encrypt the intelligence. We can't hide a power cell that well. Our ship does not have the best places to smuggle anything like this.
yet.
Yes.
We're gonna need a bigger ship for that. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
We should focus on the Prothean intelligence first.
It's funny. So he says that. Obviously, she's not as familiar with the ins and outs of the ship as, say, Winnie is, because Winnie has worked on it even more than she did, though she obviously worked on it before Winnie ever got there, but for a short period of time. Right?
She never picked up a screwdriver while she was
That's
working
right.
on
You
it,
only
though. She
deal
was all
with the
tech.
interface. Yep.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to say is two things. One, you know that the battery is not very large, because even though it was a very large box that was carried that you're trying to power,
Does
the
not
actual
matter.
Battery cell is not very big that goes into it comparatively. So you know that that's one case. I know, Ollie, you're talking about like secrecy as opposed to yes, we can find a hole to put it in, but what if they have a means of detecting it?
Exactly.
And then two, Winnie, you're pretty sure if you're talking about just physical, like, can an eyeball see it? You can think of 10,000 locations on that ship where you can hide things. But again, the Asari is referring to more than just an eyeball seeing. So.
Oh yeah. Like I'm sure I can find a place to, like, physically put this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to wrap it in like electrical tape first, and then they won't be able to scan it.
It's an aluminum foil hat for the battery. Is that what it is? Aluminum foil hat.
Apparently it works.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna get some Alex Jones on this battery here. So you.
It's true that the frog's gay.
So you guys are you guys make your way back to the ship. You grab your scope and everything. You probably detach it from your sniper rifle, so you're not walking around like this as a means to to search things out.
that seems like a decent idea.
Yeah.
Just gut feeling.
So you detach the scope from your gun so you can go around.
I mean,
and start
we
looking.
probably had 2 scopes. I'd probably hand one of them to Cracks, the shittier one.
Technically speaking, you would, because you do have your armory. So there would be other ones. Maybe a lower
Yeah, we'd
quality
have a
sniper.
Well,
bunch.
I just got another sniper rifle. That's garbage, but I assume it has good parts.
Yep, it has parts that you can, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
like use.
You can always cannibalize
You know,
it.
scrap them.
Yep, exactly. So you do that. Awesome, perfect. So you grab that stuff and you intend to go out and check things out that way. Meanwhile, the other two of you are going to stay back on the ship and maybe plan out what your attempt is. But we can figure out what that is when we come back from our, I'm going to say our first break. Like I said, the intention is for this stream to go for 2 hours. If the story doesn't button up the little bit that we're doing in 2 hours, we'll let it roll a little bit longer. But we should be good in about 1 more hour or so, okay? So we'll see you all shortly. Bye.